Hi students, how are you? Today we can revise the ninth and 10th lesson. First we can discuss the important points in ninth lesson. That is living organisms, characteristics and habitat. In this lesson, we saw that Paheli and Bhujo went on vacation to many places and they found that the kind of living organisms that were present in different locations were different. So our first topic is habitat and adaptation. So first we can discuss about habitat and adaptation. So what is habitat? The place where organisms live is called habitat. The plants and animals that live on land are said to live in terrestrial habitat. Example, forest, desert, etc. If they are living in water, then that habitat is called aquatic habitat. The living things in a habitat are called biotic components. Example, all plants and animals are biotic components. And the non-living things in a habitat are called abiotic components. Example, soil, water, air, etc. The animals living in desert will have some features that help them to live in a desert, and the animals living in water will have some other characters that help them to live in water. So, the presence of specific features or certain habits which enable an organism to live in a place is called adaptation. So, what is adaptation? The presence of certain features that help the organism to live in a place is called adaptation. Now we can look what are the adaptations of a camel that help it to survive in a desert. Camels have long legs which help to keep their bodies away from the heat of the sand. They excrete small amount of urine. Their dung is dry and they do not sweat. Since camels lose very little water from their bodies, they can live for many days without water. So, give some adaptations of camel. Their legs are long to keep their bodies away from the heat of the sand. They excrete small amount of urine. Their dung is dry and they do not sweat. Next, we can look what are the adaptations of a fish that help it to live in water. First, the body shape of a fish. They have a streamlined body shape that help them to move easily in water. Then fish have slippery scales on their bodies. These scales protect the fish and also help in easy movement through water, and they have flat fins and tails that help them to change directions and keep their body balance in water. Gills present in the fish help them to use oxygen dissolved in water. Next, we can look what are the adaptations of a cactus plant that help it to grow in a desert. The leaves in desert plants are either absent, very small, or they are in the form of spines. This helps in reducing loss of water from the leaves through transpiration. Photosynthesis in these plants is usually carried out by the stems. The stem is also covered with a thick waxy layer which helps to retain water in the tissues of cactus. Most desert plants have roots that go very deep into the soil for absorbing water. Next, we can look what are the adaptations of trees that are growing in mountain regions. These trees are normally cone-shaped and have sloping branches. The leaves of some of these trees are needle-like. This helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. Now we can look at the adaptations of animals that are living in mountain regions. For example, yaks have long hair to keep them warm. Snow leopard has thick fur on its body including feet and toes. This protects its feet from the cold when it walks on the snow. The mountain goat has strong hooves for running up the rocky slopes of the mountains. Now we can discuss the adaptations of animals living in grassland. First we can look what are the adaptations of lion that help it to live in a grassland. Lions have long claws in their front legs that can be withdrawn inside the toes. And its light brown color helps it to hide in dry grasslands when it hunts for prey. The eyes in front of the face allow it to have a correct idea about the location of its prey. Next, we can look at the adaptations of a deer that help it to live in forest and grassland. It has strong teeth for chewing hard plant stems of the forest. A deer needs to know about the presence of predators in order to run away from them and not become their prey. It has long ears to hear movements of predators. The eyes on the side of its head allow it to look in all directions for danger. The speed of the deer helps them to run away from the predators. Next, we can look at the adaptations of some living things in water. So, for example, there are some sea animals like dolphins and whales that do not have gills. They breathe in air through nostrils or blowholes that are located on the upper parts of their heads. So, dolphin and whales, they are not breathing the oxygen dissolved in water. They are breathing the air that is present on land. Next, we can look at the adaptations of a frog. Frogs usually live in ponds. Frogs can stay both inside the water as well as move on land. They have strong back legs that help them in leaping and catching their prey. They have webbed feet which help them swim in water. Our next topic is characteristics of organisms. So, we can discuss what are the characteristics of living things. What are the differences between living things and non-living things. So, first characteristics of organisms are all living things need food. So, all animals depend on plants or other animals for their food. What about plants? Do they need food? Yes. Plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So, all living things need food. The next characteristic is that all organisms or all living things grow. We know young ones of animals grow into adults. What about plants? Plants also grow. The next feature is all organisms respire. We know all living things need oxygen. They take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So respiration is necessary for all living things. Earthworm breathe through skin. What about fish? Fish have gills for absorbing oxygen dissolved in water. Then what about plants? Do they respire? Plants also respire. The leaves take in air through tiny pores called stomata. So leaves take in air through the holes called stomata that is present on their leaves. Okay. The next characteristic feature of all living things is that all living things respond to stimuli. For example, when bright light falls on our eyes, what will we do? We will close our eyes. That is one response to the stimulus light. Then what about plants? Do they show any kind of response? Yes, plants also shows response to stimuli. For example, the leaves of touch me not plant fold when someone touches it. The next characteristic feature is that all living things excrete or get rid of their waste materials. Then what about plants? You know all animals excrete their waste materials. Then what about plants? Do they excrete? Some plants store the waste products within their parts. Some plants remove waste products as some secretions as gum, resins, latex and all. So all living things, animals and plants get rid of their waste materials. The next characteristic feature of living things is that all living things reproduce. Animals, you know, animals produce their young ones, and most of the animals give birth to their young ones. But some animals produce their young ones through the eggs. Eggs hatch out and young ones come out in the case of birds and all. What about plants? Plants also reproduce. Many plants reproduce through seeds. The next characteristic feature of living things is that all living things move. We know that all animals can move from one place to another. Then what about plants? They do not move from one place to another, but they are showing some kind of movements in their parts. For example, opening or closing of flowers, or folding of leaves of touch me not plant. All these are some kinds of movements in the plants. Then another common characteristic of all living things is that all living things die. So dear students, in this lesson we were discussing about the adaptations of living things in desert, water, mountain regions and all. And also we discussed the characteristics of living things. So what are the characteristics of living things? They need food, they grow, they respire, they show response to stimuli, they excrete, they reproduce, they can move and they will die also. Okay, so next we can discuss the important points in 10th lesson, that is motion and measurement of distances. So what is measurement? The comparison of an unknown quantity with some known quantity is called measurement. The non-fixed quantity is called unit. So when we write 2 centimeter, centimeter is the unit. The unknown quantity is 2 and non-fixed quantity is centimeter. Then the system of units now used is known as International System of Units. And what is the SI unit of length? The SI unit of length is meter. And we know 1 meter is 100 centimeter, 1 centimeter is 10 millimeter, and 1 kilometer is 1000 meter. The next topic is motion. So what is motion? It is some kind of a change in the position of an object with time. So motion is the change in position of an object with time. So now we can look which are the different types of motion. We can see there are different types of motions like rectilinear motion, circular motion and periodic motion. Motion in a straight line is called rectilinear motion. For example, movement of a car on a straight road or the march past of soldiers. In circular motion, an object moves such that its distance from a fixed point remains the same. Example, motion of the blades of a fan, motion of the needles of a clock, etc. Then the motion that repeats itself after some period of time is called periodic motion. So in a periodic motion, the motion repeats itself after same interval of time. Example, motion of a child on a swing. Hey students, so in this lesson we saw what is measurement, what is the SI unit of length. SI unit of length is meter. Then we saw the different types of motions. Which are the 3 types of motions? Rectilinear motion. If an object is moving in a straight line, it is called rectilinear motion. Then we saw a circular motion. And the third type is periodic motion. If an object is repeating its motion at correct interval of time. That type of motion is periodic motion. Clear now? Okay, bye.